Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of OMP. I'm Jack Materko, and with me this week is comedian Nathan Timmel. Nathan, how are you?
I am well. Nice to see you again. Thank you for having me on your new project, Mr. Jack.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been a minute. And I need to, since you're up in Iowa, I need to apologize for my friends for screwing up your holidays. The the Satan people kind of made a mess of your state capital a little bit, huh?
What did I miss? What am I out of the loop
Oh, you
on?
didn't hear any of that? Oh, they put
No,
a
I
they
talked
put
to
a
my buddy
holiday
Jake.
display.
Okay.
They put a
Oh, they do
holiday
that.
display in your state capital,
Yeah, that's fine.
and
No, I did hear about that. It took me a while to connect the two, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, yeah. It became a big to-do. Apparently the guy who knocked over their statue is being charged with a hate crime. It's a whole thing.
Well, there you go.
You
Who knew
know.
statues had feelings and were protected by the Constitution and available to hey, but if embryos are babies and little cells that can't be seen by the human eye are people, then statues are too, goddammit. Corporations, statues, and cells, all people in my America. Trump 2024 and 2028. I'm not backing down.
So you got a new special out.
I do. You said it. I live in Iowa. Hollywood does not know I exist. So a lot of comedians were doing it, and I said, "Well, I should shit or get off the pot. I should just pull the trigger and let go of this. Like maybe I'll get discovered someday, and just film my own." So I did.
There
It's
you
called
go. There you go.
Unapologetic, and I put it up on YouTube for free for the world to watch. No Kickstarter, no GoFundMe, no, hey, everybody send me money so I can do this. I just did it. It's the Gen X way. Do it, get it done.
Yeah, yeah. We don't hear much about Gen X at all in any of the political discussions.
And that's the way we
I
like
don't
it.
know. Yeah, yeah. It just kind of faded off into the distance.
That's how we existed our entire life. So we're used to it.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is it that you're talking about in your new special?
Oh my. Let me see what I can do just off the top of my head. I open with a bit of, I suppose it could be called social commentary, but in a funny way, not just me on stage complaining or bitching. There are punchlines, there's much laughter. Then I switch to more personal topics. I talk about my kids, and then I talk about my kids in relation to, again, going back to big objective truths, if you want to talk about trans issues. And from there, sticking with the kids, I believe, talk about generational differences. Like I said, the difference between Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. My kids are apparently called Gen Alpha. I don't know what their defining caricatures are yet, other than they were born at a certain time, but Gen Alpha. And then I believe I talk about my wife, my marriage in humorous ways, and yeah, wrap it up with a tale from the road from many years ago. Just sort of a
You,
weaving. There are some jokes in there, but it's a storytelling form of jokes for the most part.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it. I checked it out the other day when you told me.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know you watched it.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything I forgot that you
I
remember?
looked it up. I uh, I liked the bit about the way playgrounds have changed.
Yeah, that was
Doing
the
the middle there.
generational thing I said, is where
Yeah,
we pick on millennials right now, but one thing I try and point out is, yes, we call millennials the snowflake generation, the participation trophy generation, but what I like to point out is they did not raise themselves. Someone raised them to be that way. So I find it amusing when adults get angry, like, "Oh, they're so demanding." It's like, well, we were the latchkey kids. We raised ourselves. We became tough as nails and independent and do it ourselves. But you can't blame millennials for growing up a certain way when that is all parental influence.
it's very true. Very true. So, what do you
Yeah,
think
I
of the what do you think of the big push to try and try and make problems for public schools and move everybody to charters and vouchers and
I honestly, my head is so full of so much shit that I don't pay too much attention to that. I know it's a push by Texas billionaires are really into it because it's a code for religion. It's a code for Christianity is really all it is. They say it's school choice and vouchers. What it is all right, yeah, math, history, but now it's prayer time. Now it's indoctrination. It's funny how they like to talk about gay indoctrination or bitch about drag queens. I'm going sideways here for 5 seconds. One of my favorite things is whenever a sex ring is busted, how Twitter and social media explodes with, "Hey, I noticed there were no drag queens arrested in that sex trafficking bust." But the right and Christians love to attack anything not them. And that's all charter is. That's all voucher is. It's not about better schools, as John Oliver has already exposed with a great expose showing. And we've all seen news stories of so-called charter schools that were nothing more than a pencil in a tin shack. There was one in New Orleans that my buddy Jake and I made fun of endlessly. Like, who drops their kid off at the anyway? It's all religion based. It's these billionaires, and I can't remember their names. It's like the Koch brothers of religion saying end public schools. It's absurd to me. I Life is amazing if you really think about it. In my lifetime, I have watched at points the right has come down now on the military. These institutions that are supposedly champ teachers, uh, the military, and there was another one. I'm drawing a blank now because it's all off the top of my head, but yeah, you never used to do that. You never used to attack teachers. You used to champion and say, these are taking care of our kids. They're making the future. Now they're indoctrinating kids. Oh, I just remembered an old joke of mine I need to write down. Yeah, I think school vouchers are a sham. That's the
Yeah.
short answer. I just rambled on, but the short answer is I don't like the push. My kids are in a public school. We have parent teacher conferences tomorrow. I have never had a bad parent teacher conference. I've Teachers are a special breed. The fact that they can tolerate kids all day. I mean, I get tired of my own kids. I can't imagine having 30 of the little fuckers or more in front of me, all being needy and demanding, or as they get older, teenagers
Yeah,
off
one
putting.
birthday party a year is more than enough.
Yes. And so God bless the teachers. The God I don't believe in, bless the teachers.
Are you still doing Idiots on Parade?
Yeah, Jake and I put it out every week. We are over 500 plus episodes. Idiots on Parade is a podcast another comedian and I have. I live in Iowa. He lives in New York, so we do it over Zoom. We basically we used to tell stories from the road, but when you've been doing it as long as we have, 500 plus episodes, there are always stories, but you begin to run dry. So we started making fun of the news. And where we stand now is our tagline is we mock the news so you don't have to. So every week we just go through and find any story. Today we talked about Lauren Boebert's son getting arrested. We talked about the Democratic voters in Michigan protesting Biden by not voting for him. We made fun of them. We make fun of Republicans, Democrats, hypocrisy. What else do we talk about? And even obscure stories. There was a woman in Ireland who had a 800 plus $1,000 insurance settlement that she lost because she was caught in a Christmas tree throwing competition. I'm sorry, she was injured. It was an injury lawsuit, an insurance claim where she claimed, "Oh, I'm injured. I can't work. I can't do anything." Got near $1 million, and then, of all the things to get busted in, a Christmas tree throwing contest. So obscure news
Now
like
was
that,
it
big news,
so she already had the disability claim and then got caught hucking
and then
Christmas
got caught
trees?
chucking 5 foot Christmas trees as far as you can throw them. I mean,
Well, yeah.
because
Can't do that on camera.
no, but I think what we talked about not being able to do that on camera, but also the idea that, I mean, who dreams this up? That's again the beauty of humanity. Someone saw Christmas trees laying out, early January and said, I wonder how far I could throw one of those fuckers. I wonder if we could get a bunch of people and have a contest. And it became a tradition. And now that's what they do in this small little hamlet, Essex area of Ireland. And she got busted because she would rather be in public throwing Christmas trees than hiding inside in a lounge chair going, yeah, boy, I sure ripped them off for $800,000. Woo, I got paid. You know, it's like, if you're going to get
Yeah.
paid, stay the fuck inside. Don't go throw Christmas trees. So that's idiots
Yeah,
on
that
parade.
becomes your job. Your job is now not get caught.
Yes, that becomes your job. So that's what we do is we make fun of news stories every single week. And yeah, I like to think we're equal opportunity offenders, which gets us in trouble because we fail every purity test. We fail the purity test of the left that says you must, believe in all the things the left in. We definitely fail the purity test of the Trumpers who say, it doesn't matter how much of a hypocrite he is, how much he lies. We still believe in him. You have to believe his lies. We fail the purity test of Republicans we just fail every purity test. And it's sad in a way because we could probably be very popular if we just pandered. I have seen so many TikTokers that if you tell an audience what they want to hear, you can blow up because man, we love our echo chambers these days. We just love them. They make us feel so comfortable and warm, just like Linus's security blanket. No, don't give me any outside ideas. I don't like thinking. I don't like having my beliefs challenged.
And the way I don't know if you've thought much about how like the algorithm it affects your reach these days, but
Oh, it's all I
it
think
seems to
about.
me that if you don't fit into comfortably into someone's echo chamber bubble, you just don't show up to them. So
Yep.
just
I am
waiting for
a
that echo chamber that I do fit into.
Yeah, we're all victims of that. And this goes back to not just echo chambers, but it goes back to the movie Knocked Up, where I remember it from the trailer. Jonah Hill was like, I think it was Jonah Hill. I'm not, but someone was saying, "Oh, look, I just put out this video that I'm hoping will do well, and here's a picture. Here's one of a kitten with a piece of yarn, and it has 10 million views." I mean, people online don't always enjoy thinking, not just outside their echo chamber, but just in general. If you have a job and it's stressful, or you have a boss that yells at you, or take a teacher that deals with kids all fucking day, you jump on TikTok. God damn it, you want to see kittens and baby ducks, and you don't want to see in-depth conversation. So I get it. It sucks. I can complain about it, but I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's also it seems like all the social media companies put us all in a box where in order to you can put whatever on their platforms, and if it's popular, it's popular. But if you want to monetize, you basically have to immediately give them money to advertise whatever it is.
Yes. I just swallowed a burp. I just had an interesting experience that I'll be turning into a little, not a bit, but I'll turn in. I post a video a day on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And so I'm constantly, if it's a video a day, I've got to have stuff. And this just happened. And I love it when shit just falls into my lap. I hate having to think of things to post. This is what just fell into my lap. Yesterday morning. Yeah, it was Saturday morning. Yesterday, TikTok flagged a video of mine for something like copyright infringement, and I appealed it and said, "This is my video. It's a stand-up routine of mine. It was just a quick, it was taken from the special. It was taken from
Right.
Unapologetic." And I said, "This is me on stage telling a joke I wrote. There is no copy." Well, what they dinged me for was I put that joke on TikTok previously, only using a cell phone in the back of the room. I recorded my set. The joke turned out okay, even though it's just a single shitty cell phone, straightforward shot. So that was the comparative tool. TikTok said, no, no, you, Nathan Timmel, stole this professionally edited and good looking video, this joke from this Nathan Timmel over here on your page several months ago just from a cell phone. It's the same words. It's obviously a copyright. I'm like, you're fucking
It's fascinating.
not
So
only
yeah,
did the go ahead.
and like I don't know how TikTok works because I cannot. It's too much like Blipverts for Max Headroom for me, and it just wigs me out. I can't watch.
Oh,
But uh, is there like a setting in there where like you turned on like flag other people for sharing my stuff or
no, 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 no. I allow sharing on everything. To me, the funny part is not only does that mean the algorithm dinged me, but when I appealed, it went to the dumbest, and I say this in the most generous way I can, English second language, third world country TikTok employee, because they have farms of that. They aren't
Yeah.
hiring Harvard grads to review appeals, and someone just went, yeah, it's this, and just denied my appeal. There's no one that has. It's literally you're pulling. And so that's what I find amusing is you can appeal an algorithm ding, but the person that you are appealing to doesn't really have the mental capacity to make an intelligent decision half the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And therefore you stole your own joke
I
somehow.
stole my own joke. It's kind of
that
like,
that
oh,
is
I didn't think of
copyright
this.
gone wild.
I did not think of this. It's exactly like the time John Fogerty got sued by his own record company for stealing his own music. I can't remember the
It's
specific.
even worse than that because at least there's some sort of contractual. He sold the copyright to them.
No, they said he stole his own song to make a different song, and he had to take a guitar on stage and play both songs to the jury. I'm almost positive he was acquitted. I'm almost positive, but yeah, he had to play the songs and say, "Here's this song, here's this song. Yes, the record label owns the copyright to this song, but it's not but the record label just want."
There was a lot of that in the late '90s, early 2000s, where they were anything that had the same chord progression, they were going after each other like crazy.
Yeah, I read something. I can't remember if it was the manager of Van Halen. I read his book, but I can't remember if this was in it or I read an Alex Van Halen. He was talking about Wild Thing and how back when sampling was just starting, they sort of came to Van Halen and said, "Hey, they want to sample Jamie's Crying. And they're like, they'll pay $1,000." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. It's the sure, woo, $1,000 or whatever it was." And then they heard the song and it blew up and they realized what sampling was. And they're like, fuck, we signed that away for $1,000. They could have been like Queen and Vanilla Ice, where it was like, no, we get writing credit on this, or we get the royalties, and Queen got the royalties for Ice Ice Baby because that was not sampled, it was stolen. But
Hmm.
so I think was it Sir Mix-a-Lot? So either way, he approached Van Halen and did everything above board. They just should have said, "Oh, sure, you can use our thing. We'll take a writing credit," instead of just give us it's like Donald Sutherland in Animal House, where they said, "Hey, we got no budget. We'll give you a couple $1,000, or you
But
can own a piece of the movie."
even that doesn't matter as much because the thing about having a writing credit on a song is when it plays on terrestrial radio, the writers
Plays
get
anywhere. Yeah.
well. I don't does it if that happens on like what Spotify? I don't think
Well,
the
on
streaming
Spotify,
rights
it's
thing is
a
anywhere
point
nearly the
zero
same.
zero 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 1 cent. I mean, they get
Yeah,
something. You got to get something like 60,000 views or just 60,000 hits on Spotify to get a penny or something like that. But the writer, the whoever owns the publishing royalty, the writing royalty gets paid, which is what I was saying about Donald Sutherland and Animal House. They said, "We'll either give you several $1,000s or a piece of Animal House." And he said, "Just give me the fucking money." And then Animal House blows up and he like said, "I could have made, 10, 15 million off the royalties and the residual checks that they offered me," but he turned it down for cash in hand. And that's what Van Halen did. I just wish I had had that opportunity from TikTok. I'm stealing from myself. So you collect the royalties and then you'll pay me from me. I have no idea how it would work, but no, I get nothing. I get disqualified from the program because of my thievery, because of my duplicity and my deception in trying to pass off a joke I wrote and filmed with an iPhone as a joke I wrote and hired a production company to film and edit for me.
yeah. Well, that'll teach you.
That'll learn
That'll
you.
teach you to make better copies.
And I'm going to be doing this going forward because I'm chopping this special up. So I released this on YouTube as a full 1 hour so people can sit down and watch it. But the way to get people there is to get their attention. So I'm taking it and chopping it up for TikTok and Instagram Reels, 1 minute clips. So I'm curious as to how many times this will happen again with old iPhone copies of the joke that I just filmed in the back of the room now professionally, because this is an hour of material spanning years. At the last minute, the playground bit that you liked, that is an old bit. I had not done that in several years, but I never had a professional recording of it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring that back and then I can just, drop it from my act again. So I got it on film. I got a nice recording, but it's not a staple of my act and hasn't been for several years. But that's
Yeah,
how I
well,
have
I
all
mean,
these old
that's
iPhone recordings.
kind of what you have to do with the special is put in all
Yeah.
the ones that you want to get a
Yep.
good copy of.
And
Yeah.
and I do have other material that I do have and that I dropped for the special that now I can have if I decide to do this again, if I, decide to cobble together a few bucks to try and pull it off once more. But I'm glad I did it. It was great. I had been trying to do it for a year, and every single time I was booked in a comedy club, I'd reach out to the production companies. This is mind-boggling to me. This I find confusing. I would reach out to these production companies, and maybe 1 in 10, if any, would write back. I would say, "Here's who I am. Here's what I'm looking for. What would you charge? Can you give me an estimate?" And just radio silence. And I'm like, how do you run a business if you do not respond to inquiries? It makes no sense. But this one, so I'd been trying for a year to make this happen, and then a friend of mine who is also a booking agent that I've gotten to know over 20 years, COVID killed the comedy club here in Cedar Rapids closest to me. But the guy that owned it is doing everything he can to keep comedy alive. He found a music venue and said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing comedy every other month or something?" And they said, "Sure." So he said, "Hey, would you like to do this music venue?" I said, "Yes." Tried one more Google search, found a production company. We got on great. And it just sort of all came together like everything happens when it's supposed to. So yeah, I
Yeah.
got to do it close to home. Didn't have to worry about anything. Just gave them money and they came in, did it all.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Keep the pressure and stresses off the talent. Have you ever been on a movie set? Have you ever been on a movie set?
Not really. Nothing. Not a professional movie set.
Yeah,
Indie stuff. Yeah.
I when I lived in Los Angeles, I worked behind the scenes on movie sets and filming locations. I was like one of the nobodies in the background, and yeah, they're very like number one is walking, talent is walking. Can we have it quiet for the talent, please? It's like everything is about the talent. It's amusing. So that's what I thought of when I was talking. I'm like, oh, I should call myself the talent.
What about books? Are you still writing books, or
I've to
have
anybody
have you been
which is
have you been stuck in the Amazon crunch of their algorithm too? Because
well, I do so. To all the people who don't know me, which is everybody, for a big chunk of time, whenever I was on the road doing comedy, I would sit in hotel rooms and write books. I have 3 works of nonfiction out and 1 work of fiction, and I kind of have an idea for another work of fiction, and I've written part of it, and then I look at it and I'm like, not sure I like it, and so it's just sort of gestating right now. But the work of fiction, I don't worry so much about Amazon in that because that sells fairly well on the road when I'm doing comedy. And after a show, I go, "Hey, everybody, I write books. If you're interested," and I can sell like 5, 10 copies after a show, and that's nice. So, I'm not Stephen King. I'm not prolific. I don't have a book coming out every month. None of them are bestsellers, but I'm happy with what I have under my belt. I'm a comedian, not an author, so I don't worry about writing books all the time. They were just sort of like neat things I did as projects. And right now, the neat projects I have are daily videos on TikTok trying to increase my Q factor, I guess it's called, my visibility, get myself out there.
yeah. So you're doing one a day. You're recording it in that day and posting.
No,
Not
no,
the comedy clips, obviously, but
not the clips. I try and have like, I have tomorrow's done and tomorrow I like to be 1 day ahead. I like just because otherwise, if I tried to get up and edit and put it together and then post it all in 1 day, that would be too frantic. I mean, it's kind of what I do since I do one a day, but I don't want to have the pressure of, oh shit, I got to get this thing out. I like having one done. So it's mostly topical, current, even if it's not topical news, it's just what I'm talking about. I do cheat occasionally. my family and I went to Costa Rica at the beginning of February, the last week of January, first week of February. So what I did is I actually actively lined up 7 and scheduled them all the way out because Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube allow scheduling. And so I scheduled every day a 10 a.m. drop. And then when I was on vacation, I didn't have to do shit. I scheduled them out 7 days. That's the most I've ever done, has been that far in advance. And anybody that follows me on TikTok, or not TikTok, on Facebook, they got fucked because they don't allow scheduling. Or they do, but you have to go into their business suite and it's a whole fucking process. And so, yeah, I just told people, if you want your update, follow me on one of the better platforms. Facebook sucks anyway. Everyone hates Facebook. I get the least views, hits, anything, interaction on
Facebook is
Facebook.
put it like you can auto schedule stuff, but then if you put a link in the body of the post, it doesn't rank as high as, so
No,
you still end up having to go back and put the link in the comments anyway.
right.
So it's
Because
like,
Facebook doesn't want anybody linking away from them, but they're dishonest
right.
about it. At least Elon was honest when he took over Twitter and said, I don't want links in tweets. Yeah, he doesn't want anybody clicking away from Twitter. Now he went back on it because he realized everybody fucking hates it. Facebook lies, or they're silent. They're quiet liars. They don't say we don't want links in posts because we don't want anyone leaving Facebook. But if you put a link in a post, it does get buried in the algorithm. It doesn't go into feeds. You have to put a post that might be catchy so that, like, oh, that's just a post, and then link in the first comment so that that's how that started. Is Facebook doesn't want you clicking away from Facebook. Everybody wants you on their own platform and nowhere else. That's why TikTok and Instagram don't allow linking at fucking all.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fine if they made it easier to monetize some of that stuff, you know? But
Hey, I think I made $25, maybe 30 from TikTok over the past couple of months. So yeah.
yeah, really raking it in.
Mm-hmm. Because it's funny. I see all these influencers that I'm going to break down how much I made off TikTok last year, $80,000, and here's how I did it. And I'm just like, how the fuck did you do it? Because I'm looking at you, and I'm not saying my content is interesting, but neither is theirs. I do not understand how some blow up and others don't because it seems very random.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure a lot of it's like behind the scenes licensing, you know, particularly
Could
with
be.
like with Instagram models and whatnot. It's like, okay, we're paying you to wear this outfit kind of thing. It's not really
And
the
it's
same thing
amazing
that,
to
that a lot
me
of
that
us can get away with.
True. It's just amazing to me that that is how that works. That there are people that get on TikTok and Instagram and go, "Ooh, they're saying to buy that lipstick. I must buy it." Like, my fucking lord, that's that's it, huh? That's
It
how
didn't
dumb
work
you
when
are.
it was TV commercials. It's not going to work now.
But it does. That's the whole point. It does, and I don't know why or how, but that just says a lot about what you need to know about people. Us
Well, I
as
think
a
that as Gen X got inoculated to that after growing up with every cartoon being a toy commercial, right?
yeah, yep.
Kind of immune now.
Yep. And today's a la carte generation, my kids, I remember when my kids first saw commercials during football season because all they get is streaming, they get commercial free. And so they were confused. They actually kind of thought they were neat. Now they're, sick of them because, I just leave. But I remember when they were sort of, what is that? I'm like, I thought you were watching football. I'm like, well, this is called a commercial. I had to explain commercials to my kids. There might be a bit in that. I should write that down. I don't know if I can make it funny, but that's how my comedic brain works is I talk about something and then I think, huh, well that might be something. Yeah, so let's make a
I do
note.
kind of feel like something's been lost in the with that with the lack of destination programming, you know? Like
Yeah,
Saturday morning cartoons in particular seem like a
that was
thing
a
that's just
block.
and this was your cartoons for the week and it was exciting and it was Saturday and you didn't have to go to school and it was awesome. Now every cartoon you want, whichever episode on demand, you know? So
Truman,
it's a
take your
very different
GI.
reality to be living in.
It is. I mean, you can say that about anything. I mean, you remember when it was special to see It's a Wonderful Life at Christmas or The Wizard of Oz. Was that also a Christmas? It was once a year. I mean, traditional broadcasting showed these things once a year, and it was special. And then it got diluted by, I don't know, Turner Classic. Someone was going to show it for, 24 hours a day for a week before Christmas, and then now it's just click a button. That's why I called it the a la carte nation. Is they get what they want when they want it, and that is why they are all such fragile. If they meet any resistance, they crumble because they're not used to it. They're confused by, but I get what I want when I want it. They never had to sit there. We had 3 fucking channels. We had to watch the goddamn Love Boat for fuck's sake because there was nothing else on. You try and watch the Love Boat and you're like, this is just bad. This is bad. Why would anyone watch this? We watched it because it was the only goddamn thing on television. Now I remember when the joke was there are 500 cable channels. Well, now there's so many. The streaming options are, I don't know. It's funny. They talk about how they're all losing money. Yeah, because there's so many and you're all creating crap original content. Spending tens of millions of dollars to create content nobody wants.
But I'll tell you what content people do want. Your special,
Yeah.
which is on the YouTubes. Check the link down below, folks.
Is it up there? I only have you and me on screen. Are you
Oh,
displaying
I'll put it in the.
you
I'll put it
nice
in
guy?
the. I'll put it in the comments on the YouTube when it goes up.
Gotcha.
Link to
Yeah,
it.
right there on YouTube. And I did this. My wife has somewhat been telling me that I should allow mid-roll ads on YouTube, and I'm like, you can't do that with a comedy special. You can't just have YouTube. So I'm just telling the viewers watching right now that this is you'll get the 5-second ad up front that you can skip. There are no mid-roll ads that you have to skip because nothing bothers me more than getting into it. I click away every time. I think everybody should when you're getting into something and it's interesting and suddenly it's like, and now Tide Pods. Tasty as ever. New improved flavor Tide Pods.
And everyone puts them in. Everyone puts them in a very uncomfortable place. I saw one. I had one the other day. I was watching some legal update thing, and the mid-roll commercial comes in, and I skip that. And then right after the mid-roll commercial, they had their in-video product placement like right after it. So it skipped the commercial and went right into another commercial. Just like, oh, guys, killing me.
My special is pure and free, and you will be distracted for an hour and 4 minutes. No commercials, no breaks, no mid-roll, just me yapping at you like I am doing right now, only with punchlines.
Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, good
yeah, it was
seeing
good
your
catching
face,
up,
my
man.
friend.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Happy to help you get the word out about the special.
Absolutely appreciate it. Viewers, watchers, listeners, nice seeing you.
Bye. All right.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate it.